Hello everyone, Basic Ollie here. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another video and welcome back to another episode of This Week on iRacing, the series that gives you all the information you need for the upcoming races on iRacing. And this week is quite a special episode because we have a special event. We have PETIT Le Mans this weekend, boys and girls. One of the most brilliant, chaotic, fantastic, scary special events on the iRacing calendar. Now, I know what your first question is. This is a crazy event. Is it going to rain? Well, let's have a quick look at that, shall we? Now, if you have a look at it on the UI, you can actually have a look at it now in the UI. The chance of rain is none, okay, which is good news, I believe. But there was lots of rain, or there was a high chance of rain before the event actually starts. So you'll get into your lobby about 10:55 in-game, and it looks like it would have rained a few hours before for a couple of hours as well. So there is a chance that when you get out there on track during qualifying and the start of your race, it's quite wet. So it might start wet, dry out, and then the rest of the race is dry. So do bear that in mind, okay? So let's break this event down a little bit for people that haven't heard of the event before or participated in it. It is an IMSA race, so it holds GTP, LMP2 and GT3 cars. So it's a multi-class race. And no, it's not around the mall. It's actually around a track called Road Atlanta, which is a fantastic circuit. Really, really quick pace. Even in GT3s, you're doing, what, probably 1 minute 20 lap times, if that. LMP2s, 1 minute 10s, and GTPs even quicker than that. So super, super quick track. Track temperature for this event, this is really hard to judge now. It's really hard to judge because I don't really know if it's going to have rain at the start or not. So it's very difficult to judge the track temperature. Every time I've tried to go into a test event using the exact same conditions, funnily enough, it actually had 95% chance of rain. So yeah, so it's been very, very difficult to judge what the track temperature will be. But my guesstimate is going to be between 20 and 30 degrees because it is still later on in the year. So my guesstimate is between 20 and 30 degrees. So it will start mid 20, maybe rise to 30 or just above 30 degrees and then drop down again during the event. But like I said earlier, there is no chance of rain in the event, so you don't have to worry about that. But there might be a chance of rain at the start. This is a D4.0 license event, so as long as you're licensed D4.0 or above, so C, B, A class, anything like that, you can participate in this event. This will be a very, very popular event. I fully expect over 1,000 teams to sign up, so there's going to be absolutely loads of splits for this one. And if you are doing it for the very first time, I can highly recommend you, well, might be controversial, you'll have to let me know in the comments. I would highly recommend you do not go in the GTP, and I would highly recommend you go in either the LMP2 or GT3. Now, the reasons for this is that GTPs will be incredibly difficult to keep up at pace at turn 5. Turn 5 is an absolute killer. It is an absolute killer, okay? It claims all sorts of cars. Doesn't matter what you're in, it can be an absolute death trap, but GTPs and especially, they will struggle, especially at pace and when overtaking traffic. So if it's your first time doing this event, I would highly recommend going in an LMP2 or a GT3. Personally, if you want to still go on it, fair enough, but just be warned, turn 5 can be a bit of a killer, and overtaking traffic is going to be a bit of a nightmare. Talking of traffic though, if you are going in a GT3, please do watch out for those sends. You're going to be getting overtaken by LMP2s and GTPs constantly for 10 hours straight. You might have 5 laps at the start where they haven't caught you yet, but after that, it is going to be hell. They're going to dive bomb you left, right, and centre. It is literally going to be a race of survival. The amount of times I've seen people absolutely flying at the start and then just get taken out by another class, it's countless, absolutely countless. So be wary. I would definitely recommend having a spotter for this event if you can, just because of how deadly the event is, really. But yeah, if you're going to go on a GT3, please watch out for sends and dive bombs and stuff like that. GTPs, turn 5, and, you know, just general saying to yourself anyways, watch out for the weather at the start. So with all that in mind, I would probably recommend, if you're going to go in any car this weekend and your objective is to probably just get to the end, LMP2 would definitely be my shout. I think that's probably the car we're going to go in. We love the LMP2 anyways, but I think the LMP2 will be popular here. It's great around this track, good on the curbs, easy to drive, and yeah, you kind of get the best of both worlds, and you have to do a bit of overtaking, you know, the traffic, but you have to deal with the dive bombs a little bit from the GTPs as well, although it's not too bad. Okay, then let's quickly talk about the BOP then, shall we? So this is the initial BOP. Now, like it says above, they do have the right to change this BOP on Wednesday, so 2-3 days before the event actually begins. Now, what tends to happen here is they will look at IMSA, because IMSA's running here this week, and they'll tend to look at the results, what cars I believe are the most popular and what cars have really performed well, and potentially look at those, and then those cars that haven't, and potentially reduce the BOP on those. So GT3 especially is one I think they'll probably look at the most, because, well, there's just the most cars in their class, isn't it? So that's the one that's going to be the most difficult to judge. But yeah, without actually having done any races as of yet, we'll have to see what IMSA does this week. We'll see what cars will be strong. Don't be surprised, even with the BOP, I think you see your McLarens and your Ferraris and stuff like that to be up there. I think the Mustang and the Mercedes as well actually might be a dark horse. They might be a dark horse, so do keep an eye out for those. As for LMP2, we don't need to worry about that at all, do we? Thankfully. And GTPs as well. I'm no expert with the GTP, so yeah, we'll have to just see what happens with that. But regardless, do make sure that you do IMSA this week, boys and girls. So IMSA this week is at Road Atlanta, so it is basically the same race, just in a much more condensed, shorter version. So IMSA Open will be 45 minutes and IMSA Fixed will be 35 minutes. Now, both of these events will have the BOP applied. So like I was mentioning earlier, this is how they basically get all the information they need for the special event coming up, in terms of what cars are too quick and what cars are too slow. So yeah, make sure you do plenty of practice for IMSA Open and IMSA Fixed. They start later in the day, so I think about 5:30 in game. So you might kind of get that sunset vibe when you're doing the IMSA Fixed and IMSA Open. But yeah, great practice. Highly recommend you do a bit of IMSA this week. But there we are, boys and girls. I hope I've included everything that you need for the event this weekend. I wish you all the best of luck. There's quite a lot of information in here, so if you need to rewatch it again, please do. I didn't want to make this video too long because there's a lot to take in terms of, you know, all the information that you need for this event and recommendations. So I've tried to make it as condensed and not too long, so, you know, you guys don't get you don't drift away when I'm just yapping on. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. I do wish you the best this weekend, because it really is it's a brilliant event. Just to give you an idea, I've been doing this for 4 years now, and I don't think I've finished a single one of these races. That's how dangerous it is. But yeah, like I said, best of luck. I really hope you enjoyed this episode as well. If you did, please do consider subscribing. It'll really help me out. Hit that old like button on the way out, and I'll see you on track this weekend, boys and girls. Take care. Have a good one. Ta-da.